What are you doing?
Something I actually know how to do. Did you notice the Ipomea batatas on the green wall?
I'm sure that I did not.
Right here. Pitchfork-shaped leaves on the vine. Same yellowing as before.
You say so.
They're using distilled water in the hydroponics supply instead of the proper mineral solution needed for long-term stability.
That sounds bad.
We'll only be able to get away with it for another week, maybe two, and after that, the air, the scrubbing plants, what's left of them, will die off. When that happens, they won't be able to stop the cascade.
What's the cascade?
In real nature, there's enough diversity to cushion an ecosystem when something catastrophic happens. Nothing that we build, our ships or stations, has that depth. Now, in an artificial ecosystem, when one thing goes wrong, there's only a certain amount of pathways that can compensate for it. Eventually, those pathways get overstressed and then they fail, which leaves fewer pathways. And then they'll get overstressed, and then they fail.
So it's not the thing that breaks you that you need to watch out for.
Exactly. Ganymede is a simple, complex system. Because it's simple, it's prone to cascades, and because it's complex, you can't predict what's gonna break down next or how.
Yeah, but Ganymede's the most important food station out here. They're not gonna let it just collapse.
The station's dead already. They just don't know it yet.
Shortly after World War II, Western scientists came upon the principle of self-organization. So what self-organization is, it's a process that happens in complex systems while they're developing. And as they're developing, these systems are not just getting bigger, but they're getting more complex. And that complexity is derived from the parts within the system through time becoming more and more specialized and more tightly integrated together, such that each component or part, like a species in an ecosystem, while doing what it needs to do to support itself, creates conditions that support the whole. And as a result, these self-organizing systems grow increasingly stable, resilient, and energy efficient. We all went through this process as well in our developmental phases. So we started life as a single microscopic cell. Now our bodies have something like 254 different cell types, and the specialization goes even further. So, for example, some nerve cells will communicate just with a muscle cell. Other nerve cells will communicate just with a sensory cell, and then there are neurons that connect motor neurons to sensory neurons. So our cells are really specialized, but luckily for us, they're tightly integrated, such that each cell doing what it needs to do for its own purposes creates conditions that sustains the whole. And as a result, we are very stable. Our bodies are very stable. The internal temperature, right at 98.6, blood pH at 6.8, blood sugar levels carefully controlled and very stable. And we're resilient. If we get sick or we get wounded, we heal. So we're a great example of this process of self-organization. But this film is going to look at this process and how it plays out in ecosystems through evolutionary time via the process of coevolution, which is a self